It really does feel like the plot of a quirky new sitcom. Two Hollywood A-listers swooping in to rescue a struggling Welsh football club. So when rumors started swirling back in 2020 about Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney putting in a bid for Wrexham AFC, most people didn't know what to think.
Fans are already celebrating the possibility of a little bit of Hollywood magic coming to Wrexham. And that's because actor Ryan Reynolds is in talks to invest in the side. It's really not clear why. It's probably just a joke on Twitter.
Two funny guys from the big screen buying a team in North Wales? Well, it sounded more like a gag than a game plan. It turns out these two weren't joking around. They saw something special in Wrexham, a club with deep roots, a passionate fan base, and a history just waiting to be revived. Fast forward a few years and Wrexham has become a global empire worth 150 million euros. The rise has been nothing short of epic, and it all started with a spark of belief in something bigger. But to understand how wild this journey really is, you've got to go all the way back to the beginning. And the year is 1864. A few members of the local cricket club are kicking back at the pub, probably sipping pints and grumbling about how dull winters get with no sport to play or watch. That's when the chairman, Edward Manners, hits them with a game changer. He says he's buying a football and expects everyone out on the field next Saturday. Oh, and by the way, he's already had a word with the mayor, who's fully backing the idea of starting an athletic club in town. And just like that, Wrexham Football and Athletic Club was born. Their very first match went down on October 22nd, 1864 at the Racecourse Ground. And nope, it wasn't some storybook debut. They took a 2-1 loss to just 10 guys from the Prince of Wales Fire Brigade. But that match, well, it lit the spark for something way bigger. In 1877, something big started brewing in Welsh football. The newly formed Football Association of Wales decided to launch their own competition, the FAW Welsh Cup. It wasn't a brand new concept, just a Welsh version of the English FA Cup, but it was a major move for clubs in Wales. Wrexham Football and Athletic Club, freshly rebranded as Wrexham Football Club, was more than ready for the spotlight. When that first ever Welsh Cup kicked off, Wrexham made history by winning it, and that was their first real taste of glory. But then came a twist in 1880. Wrexham Cricket Club, owners of the lower part of the race course, bumped up the rent by £10 a year. The football club wasn't having it. They held a meeting and decided to move, setting up shop at Rosdew Recreation Ground. Along with a new home came a new name, Wrexham Athletic Football Club. They played their first game there on September 10th, 1881, but by the end of the season, they went back to their roots, reclaiming the name Wrexham Football Club. Then in 1883, Wrexham aimed higher, entering the English FA Cup for the very first time. And that's when things really kicked off. In a fiery second-round clash against Oswestry on December 1st at the racecourse, crowd trouble erupted. The fallout? A harsh one. Wrexham was banned from all English FA competitions. But they weren't done yet. They rebranded as Wrexham Olympic Football Club and stormed back into the English FA Cup for the 1884-1885 season. That Olympic identity stuck around for a few years until the start of the 1888-89 season, when the club switched back to Wrexham Football Club. 2 years later, they became one of the original 12 founding clubs of the second version of the Combination League. But the league came with challenges. Travel and other costs started piling up. So Wrexham pulled out and helped launch a new Welsh league. And they didn't just show up. They dominated, winning back-to-back league titles before rejoining the Combination in 1896. Wrexham were flying high, dominating the Combination League with 4 titles to their name. That success catapulted them into the Birmingham District League for the 1905-06 season. And at the end of that very season, they made a gutsy play, signing 2 players from top-tier clubs, Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa, and handing half the transfer fee straight to the players. Totally legit under Welsh rules, but a big no-no according to the English FA. So once again, Wrexham found themselves kicked off the English FA's membership list. They appealed the decision. At first, the ban held, but soon after, the English FA reversed it. That move actually led to a rule change. Paying players directly became accepted under English regulations too. Throughout the early 1900s, Wrexham FC was on a roll, absolutely flying. But just as things were looking better than ever, the world turned upside down. The First World War broke out, professional football hit pause, and the racecourse, Wrexham's beloved home ground, was handed over to the army. When football made its comeback in 1919, Wrexham jumped right back in, rejoining the Birmingham District League. The club wasted no time rebuilding, setting up a fund to cover new equipment, repair the war damage, and bring the stadium back to life. A supporters association even sprang up to keep the momentum going. But history repeated itself. In 1939, World War II hit, and professional football hit pause once again. Still, Wrexham kept the spirit alive, playing regional games. With many top-tier players stationed in town due to the war, they managed to stay competitive. Football returned full force in 1946, and Wrexham finished a solid third in their league. But silverware didn't come easy. They had to wait another decade. That patience paid off in April 1957, when Wrexham finally lifted the Welsh Cup again. Then came 1960, a bittersweet moment. Wrexham was relegated to the newly formed 4th Division for the first time ever, just days before winning the Welsh Cup. But they bounced right back in 1962 and returned to Division 3. The up-and-down roller coaster continued, though, and they found themselves back in Division 4 a few seasons later. Things began to turn around in 1970 with a promotion to Division 3, followed by yet another Welsh Cup win in 1971. That victory opened the door to Europe. In 1972, Wrexham won their first match in the European Cup Winners' Cup against FC Zurich. They were knocked out in the second round by Hajduk Split, but they had made their mark. Then came the 1975-76 season, their European breakthrough. Wrexham made it all the way to the quarterfinals, only to be knocked out by the eventual champions, RSC Anderlecht.
Inside is Wrestle. This is Cook. The ball played in, and there's a chance here. Oh, what a goal! What a tremendous goal from...
Around the same time, they built a reputation as Cup competition giant killers. In 1978, they reached the quarterfinals of both the English FA Cup and League Cup, won the Welsh Cup, and were crowned 3rd Division champions, earning promotion to Division 2. Their stint in Division 2 lasted 4 seasons before back-to-back relegations dropped them to Division 4 by 1983. Still, they pulled off another European upset in 1984, taking down FC Porto in the first round of the Cup Winners' Cup.
Pali, traverse, colpi di... Forse addirittura ci sono stati più pali in questa partita anche di quella dell'Inter, che sembrava, ce ne sono stati 4 in quella dell'Inter, quindi sembrava già un record. Ecco finalmente il gol.
But domestic form faltered, and in 1991, Wrexham finished at the bottom of the league. Fortunately, league restructuring kept them from dropping out entirely. Then came the shocker. In the 1992 FA Cup, Wrexham stunned English champions Arsenal with a dramatic upset at the racecourse.
If Mickey Thomas feels he's got a score to settle against Arsenal, lost in a cup final against them when he played for Manchester United. And it's Thomas who takes it. Oh, what a goal!
Even as the glory days began to dim, Wrexham still had fire left, snatching another Welsh Cup in 1995 and clawing their way to promotion again in 2003. But behind the scenes, the storm clouds were gathering. Chaos in the boardroom and a mountain of debt, £2.6 million, sent the club spiraling into administration in 2004. A crushing 10-point deduction followed, dragging them back down to the 4th tier. And just when it seemed that things couldn't get worse, they did. In 2005, the High Court dropped a bombshell. Wrexham's owner had illegally grabbed the freehold of the racecourse for his own company, planning to cash in big on a redevelopment deal. The club was hanging by a thread, but just 5 days before Wrexham was set to disappear for good, a new ownership group stepped in and saved the day. The new owners launched Wrexham Football Club 2006 Ltd, transferring ownership of the club and ground to Wrexham Village Ltd. They narrowly avoided relegation in 2007, but their luck ran out in 2008. Wrexham finished last and dropped out of the Football League for the first time in 87 years. Then things got even worse. In 2011, the club was hit with a winding up order over a £200,000 unpaid tax bill, but the fans refused to let their club die. They raised the money, cleared the debt, and took control through the Wrexham Supporters Trust. Wrexham nearly clawed their way back to the Football League in 2013. They made it to the playoff final at Wembley, but lost 2-0 to fellow Welsh side Newport County. After that, they just kept on struggling in the National League for the next few years. But then came late 2020, and suddenly there was a buzz in the air around Wrexham. At first, it was just whispers, rumors of a possible takeover. Nothing unusual, right? Football takeovers happen all the time. Remember when Sheikh Mansour took over the Manchester City in 2008? Game changer. But this felt different. This was Wrexham, a club buried in the 5th tier of English football. Clubs at that level don't usually spark media frenzies or grab front-page headlines. Yet somehow, this story was starting to feel bigger than football.
Fans are already celebrating the possibility of a little bit of Hollywood magic coming to Wrexham. And that's because actor Reynolds is in talks to invest in the side. It's really not clear why. It's probably just a joke on Twitter.
Ryan Reynolds, the Hollywood A-lister, and Rob McElhenney, the creative force behind TV's longest-running live-action comedy, weren't in for a vanity project. They wanted a club with soul, history, and serious underdog spirit. Wrexham had it all. By February 2021, the Hollywood duo were officially in charge.
Rob and I pitching a North Walian trailer manufacturer?
Well, because we just became owners of Wrexham Association Football Club, and they're our team sponsor.
They marked the occasion by investing £2 million into the club. Suddenly, dreams felt possible again. The 2021-22 season kicked off with serious momentum. Phil Parkinson came in as manager, a man with a track record for winning promotions. TikTok jumped on board as the main shirt sponsor, bringing some next-level visibility. But the real fireworks came when Paul Mullen signed on a free transfer.
Much buzzing to be here. It's obviously a big project that the owners have got going on at the club, and it's exciting times for the fans and the community, and I'm looking forward to being a part of that now.
And the guy went off. 26 goals in 38 games. An absolute force of nature. Wrexham finished second that year with 88 points, but heartbreak followed. They lost in a wild playoff semi-final to Grimsby, 5-4 after extra time.
Using the pitch powder. It's a goal. It's a goal for Grimsby.
It was a gut-wrenching end to a season full of hope. But the pain fueled the fire. The very next season, Wrexham finally got back into the EFL after 15 long years.
Champions! Wrexham are promoted! They have their story!
Then came the 2023-24 season, and Wrexham kept their foot on the gas. They bolstered the squad with seasoned pros like James McLean and Stephen Fletcher, and brought back Ben Foster to add even more experience between the sticks. But the magic? It still came from the same core group that battled through the National League. With 26 wins and 46 games, Wrexham powered their way to second place in League Two, securing an incredible back-to-back promotion. The rise was nothing short of sensational, but stepping into League One meant tough calls had to be made. Fan favorites like Anthony Ford, James Jones, and Jacob Mendy either took a back seat or said their goodbyes. Even Paul Mullen, the face of the club with a jaw-dropping 105 goals in 3 seasons, found himself on limited minutes. But Wrexham came out swinging. They kicked off the season with 4 wins and a draw, racking up 4 clean sheets in the process. Then came the moment everything hinged on, the promotion showdown against Charlton Athletic. With Wickham falling 1-0 to Leyton Orient, the door was wide open. All Wrexham had to do, beat Charlton, and punch their ticket to the championship. And they didn't blink. Parkinson's 181st league game in charge ended with Wrexham locking it in.
That's it! We've done it! We are the first team in history to win back-to-back promotions.
And now, for the first time ever, Wrexham are in the championship. For most fans, this is brand new territory. But for a club with this kind of momentum, maybe it's exactly where they're meant to be. But of course, the job's not finished. Promotion to the Premier League? That's a whole different beast. But knowing Rob and Ryan, they didn't come this far just to stop now. And if they've already pulled off the improbable, what's stopping Wrexham from believing they can achieve the impossible?